The strange condition. The alien medbay was silent, filled only with the soft beeping of machines. Nurse Velnari stood next to a metal table, her large black eyes scanning the human lying unconscious in front of her. His name was Jack, a human soldier brought in from the battlefield. His body was wounded but stable. However, something was wrong, something she couldn't explain. She moved the scanner slowly over his chest. His heartbeat was strong. Blood levels were normal. But as the scanner moved lower, it beeped louder. A red warning blinked on her screen. Warning: unusual heat and swelling detected. Velnari frowned. She had treated over 100 species in her time, from the crystal-skinned Telleri to the four-lunged Grokna, but never a human. This was her first time. She tapped the scanner again. The reading didn't change. She turned to her assistant, a young male named Saritek. "Run a secondary scan on this region," she said, pointing to the human's lower torso. "There is swelling." Saritek checked the readings and blinked. "Infection? Internal injury?" Velnari shook her head. "No signs of damage, just heat and volume increase. Very strange." The human shifted slightly on the table, still unconscious. His body twitched and the scanner beeped faster. The swelling was increasing. Velnari took a step back. "We may be dealing with a new kind of bioresponse. Should we report this to the Med Council?" Saritek asked. Velnari hesitated. The council did not take kindly to surprises. But this could be serious. If it was a contagious human disease, the entire station could be in danger. Just then, the human groaned softly. His eyes fluttered open. "Where am I?" Jack said in a hoarse voice. Velnari stepped forward, her voice calm and gentle. "You are in Medical Station 12. You were injured in battle. We are treating you." Jack looked around in confusion, then noticed Velnari's tall, slender alien form. Her glowing lavender skin shimmered under the medbay lights and her eyes were wide and full of curiosity. "You're not human," he muttered. "No, I am Velnari, your nurse," she said with a nod. Jack sat up slightly, then winced in pain. "My leg hurts." "Yes, it was fractured, but healing well," she said. She paused, then added carefully, "However, there is another issue. An unusual swelling in your lower body. We detected strong heat and blood flow in that region. It concerns us." Jack blinked. For a moment he looked confused. Then slowly a smirk spread across his face. Oh no," he said. "That's not an injury. That's just a reaction." Velnari tilted her head. "A reaction to what?" He hesitated, clearly embarrassed. To you. Or maybe just being alive, it's a human thing." Velnari didn't understand. She looked at Saritek, who was just as confused. "A biological response?" she asked slowly. Jack nodded. "Yeah, it's normal. Just means my body is working fine." Velnari stared at her scanner again. The numbers made no sense to her. No alien species showed this kind of sudden, intense blood flow for no reason. She had seen warriors lose limbs and barely blink. Yet this human, alive, stable, and calm, was showing symptoms like he was under attack. "This is not in the database," she said quietly. "No records of such a response." Jack chuckled weakly. "Yeah, I bet alien science doesn't cover that." She leaned closer, her voice serious. "Can this be dangerous to others?" Jack laughed again. "Only if you break hearts, nurse." Velnari blinked. She didn't understand the joke, but something told her this was not a laughing matter. Later that night, Velnari sat alone in the observation room, reviewing the scan data. She zoomed in on the readings, watching the heat levels rise when she stood near him, then fall when she moved away. This was not just a physical reaction. It changed with proximity. It was connected to her. Was it emotional? Impossible. Her people had no such reactions. Feelings were not part of medical science. But then, why did her own heart beat faster when she remembered the human's eyes? Confused by human biology, Velnari couldn't sleep that cycle. She sat inside her private chamber, surrounded by medical reports, heat maps, and strange hormone charts, all from the human named Jack. His readings didn't match anything in their universal database. The more she studied, the more questions formed in her mind. One thing disturbed her the most. The human's body reacted when he looked at her. Why? She replayed the medbay footage again. She watched Jack glance at her. His pulse jumped. Heat spiked. Brain activity surged, again and again. Each time he saw her, something changed inside him. Velnari touched her own chest. Her hearts were beating faster than normal. This is not medical, she whispered to herself. This is something else. The next day, she returned to Jack's room. He was sitting up, his wounds healing fast. But his eyes looked curious, focused only on her. You again? Jack smiled. I was hoping you'd come back. Velnari nodded, holding her scanner tight. I must ask more questions. Your body continues reacting strangely. Jack laughed. Strangely to you, maybe, but for me this is pretty normal. Normal? She blinked. To experience heat, swelling, rapid heartbeat because of another being? He leaned forward slightly. You mean attraction? Velnari didn't recognize the word. Jack tilted his head. It means your mind and body want someone. You feel connected, pulled. Velnari felt her skin warm. That is primitive. Jack chuckled. Maybe, but it's how humans bond. We don't just choose partners by logic. We feel. That's what makes us strong. She stepped back, uncomfortable. This could be dangerous. If your body can react like this without command, what else can it do? He looked serious now. It's not dangerous, it's natural. You just don't understand it, yet. Later that cycle, Velnari accessed restricted medical files from old Earth archives. She broke rules, used hidden channels. She needed answers. The human biology section was massive. There were entire chapters on emotions, chemical attraction, and love. A word that didn't exist in her language. It shocked. Her humans didn't just mate to reproduce. They connected. Through touch, voice, eyes. Their nervous systems responded to scent, memory, even dreams. This is madness, Velnari whispered. Why would a species allow itself to be so vulnerable? The next time she saw Jack, she was ready. She wore her emotion-blocking cloak, a special bio-garment that calmed alien body reactions. She believed it would also stop the human's strange response. It didn't. As soon as Jack saw her, the scanner beeped. His heat levels rose. His smile widened. Her cloak failed. You changed something, Jack said, noticing her outfit. Trying to block the spark? Velnari didn't answer. You don't have to be afraid, he added softly. I'm not trying to hurt you. She stared at him. Your body acts without your control. That is dangerous. He shook his head. It acts with feeling. That's not weakness, that's humanity. Velnari turned away, frustrated. Her mind was trained for logic, not emotion, but his words stayed with her. That night, she made a private log entry. Patient 221, human. Male shows uncontrollable body response when exposed to my presence. Scientific cause unknown. Emotional effect, increasing. I fear this is no longer just a case. I fear I'm beginning to respond. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the medical station, others were watching. A senior Xenon doctor, Dr. Hrivak, saw the same scans. He narrowed his eyes. The nurse is bonding, he hissed. This cannot be allowed. He pressed a red button, opening a hidden file. Human interference threat. Level 7. The forbidden scan. The next cycle began with cold silence. Velnari walked through the medbay hallway, her thoughts racing. Her usual calm was missing. Something inside her felt unstable. She tried to blame stress or curiosity, but deep down, she knew the truth. The human's presence was changing her, and now her own body was starting to respond. Jack was asleep again. His body looked calm, but the scanners disagreed. Heat spikes, neural flares, hormonal surges. Velnari stood still, watching the monitor blink red. She had no answers, and the med database had failed her. There was only one way left. A deep layer scan, but it was forbidden without higher approval. It could read memories, thoughts, emotions. It was not medicine. It was invasion. She hesitated, then she placed the scanner over his chest. "Forgive me," she whispered. The machine hummed, glowing blue. It sank into his mind. His memories flashed on screen. Moments, feelings, visions of Earth. A child's laughter, a mother's touch, a kiss in the rain. Velnari blinked. Love, warmth, trust, pain. The scan reached deeper. Jack's thoughts weren't calm. They were centered around her. Alien nurse, soft voice, kind eyes. Her breath caught. He had been thinking about her, dreaming about her. She shut the scan off, heart pounding. Suddenly the door opened. Dr. Hrivak entered, old, cold, and strict. He saw the deep scan machine still glowing. "You violated Protocol 9, he growled. "Without consent?" Velnari stepped back. "It was necessary. His condition is no excuse," he snapped. "You touched the mind of a human without permission." "I only wanted to understand," she whispered. "You let curiosity become attachment," Hrivak said, voice sharp. "You're infected with emotion, just like them." Velnari felt heat rise to her cheeks. "I am still in control." He stared at her. "No," he said. "You're not." That evening, the council was notified. Velnari was placed under review. Her clearance was frozen. She could no longer enter the med bay alone. But she didn't care. What she saw in Jack's scan had changed everything. Late at night, she snuck into the observation room and replayed the scan recordings. She paused on one frame, Jack's dream memory of her. She wasn't in her uniform. She wasn't healing him. She was smiling, talking, laughing, free. That's how he saw her. Not a nurse. A person. Back in his room, Jack was awake. Another nurse had arrived, cold and robotic. She handed him meds without a word. Jack frowned. "Where's Velnari?" "She is restricted," the nurse replied. "Why?" "No further contact is allowed." Jack sat up. "Wait, what happened?" The nurse said nothing and left. Jack clenched his jaw. Something was wrong. Very wrong. At the same time, Dr. Hrivak prepared a report. Subject: Human Jack 221. Nurse Velnari has shown emotional compromise. Recommend removal. Human to be isolated. Possibly returned to Earth or terminated if bond deepens. He stared at the last line. Alien hearts were not meant to change. If Velnari kept bonding, she would become something dangerous. Meanwhile, Velnari stared at the starlight, outside her window. "They think emotion is weakness," she whispered. "But maybe it's the one thing that makes us stronger." She didn't regret the forbidden scan, because now she knew. Jack didn't just react by instinct, he chose to care. And somehow, she was starting to care back. The Council of Elders Velnari stood alone in the center of a giant glowing chamber. Tall shadows sat above her, silent, judging, unmoving. These were the elders of Xenon Prime, the oldest minds of her race. They controlled medical laws, biological research, and even which species were safe to touch. Now they looked down on her, the nurse who had broken protocol. She swallowed hard. "Velnari," a deep voice echoed from above. "You performed a forbidden deep mind scan on the human soldier. Explain." "I had no choice," she answered, calm but firm. His body was reacting in ways I could not explain. The scan showed no infection, only emotion. Murmurs moved. Through the shadows, another elder leaned forward, eyes glowing faintly. Emotion is not a sickness. Then why do you fear it? Belnari replied quietly. The chamber fell silent. The elders weren't used to being questioned. Belnari took a breath and continued. The scan showed something rare. The human wasn't just recovering, he was connecting. His body and mind healed faster when I was near. He thought of me with warmth. His memories carried love. Love? One elder scoffed. A mating illusion used by primitive races, not science. Belnari looked up. Then why does it heal wounds faster than medicine? Why does it calm heart rate, strengthen immunity, and inspire? Sacrifice? The elders didn't respond. One of them stood, his voice harder than stone. You were not taught to feel, Nurse Belnari. You were trained to care logically. Emotion is not part of healing. No, she said. But maybe it should be. Gasps echoed. You are infected, an elder snapped. Belnari stepped forward. I am awakening. Back in the medical wing, Jack sat quietly by the window watching alien stars drift past. He didn't know what they'd done to Belnari, but her absence left him cold. He remembered the warmth in her hands, her voice that soothed pain better than any drug, her curiosity that made him feel human, even out here among aliens. And now, she was gone. Inside the chamber, the lead elder made a final announcement. Belnari, by your actions, you have placed this station at risk. The human's bond with you is spreading emotional instability. If this continues, other Xenon may begin to feel. That is unacceptable. What will you do? She asked. The elder's eyes narrowed. The human will be relocated, and you will be reconditioned. Belnari's heart pounded. Reconditioning meant brainwashing. They would erase her connection, her thoughts, her feelings, her memories of Jack. No, she said firmly. I won't let you take him, or me. You defy us? I choose freedom. Suddenly, alarms blared across the chamber. A flashing alert appeared on the elder's central console. Med Bay security breach, human subject missing. The elders stared at the screen. He's escaped? One growled. No, said another. He's coming. Here. Outside the chamber doors, footsteps echoed, loud, determined. Jack had stolen a uniform and made his way through the corridors. He didn't care about rules anymore. He didn't come for war. He came for her. Belnari turned toward the door, eyes wide. Jack? A loud crash echoed through the chamber as the main doors opened. Jack stood there, bloody bandage still on his arm but eyes burning with fire. He walked forward slowly but boldly. I don't care if I break every law on this station, he said. You don't get to take her mind. You don't get to erase what we felt. The elders were frozen. No one had ever spoken to them like this, especially not a human. Belnari took one step toward him. He reached out. She took his hand, and suddenly, in front of the highest council of her species, they held each other, not as nurse and patient, but as equals. When the body speaks. The med bay was in chaos. Security bots rushed through the halls. Sirens echoed across the station. And yet, in the heart of the storm, Jack and Belnari stood quietly, holding hands in front of the Elder Council. Neither said a word, but their bodies spoke louder than any voice. The elders remained frozen, unable to look away. Their laws, unchanged for 1,000 years, were being shattered by something they couldn't control. A human's love, and an alien's response. Elder Ron finally broke the silence. This is not biology. This is infection. The human is spreading. His weakness. Jack stepped forward, defiant. You call it weakness, but you're scared of it because you've never felt it. You dare mock us? Rian thundered. I dare to show you that connection makes us strong. Belnari turned to face the council. My people fear feelings. We are told that to care is dangerous. But what if it's the cure we've needed all along? Another elder stood. You are not Xenon anymore. You are compromised. I am alive, she replied, voice shaking. For the first time. Suddenly, Jack collapsed. Belnari caught him just before he hit the floor. His body was burning, too hot, too fast. She scanned him quickly. Pulse, erratic blood pressure, falling internal temperature, rising dangerously. No. No, 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 she whispered. Jack groaned. They injected me. When they tried to take me away, something in my neck. I thought I could make it. Her hands shook. They poisoned you? Jack nodded weakly. Only a small dose. To slow me down. Belnari turned to the elders, her eyes glowing with fury. You tried to silence him. You feared his words so much. You attacked his body. Elder Ron did not deny it. He is a threat. Your bond with him breaks the walls we built. If others see this, they will follow. Belnari knelt beside Jack, holding his face gently. Stay. Awake. You must stay with me. Jack's voice was soft. You said emotions weren't real. Do you still believe that? She smiled through tears. No. You showed me they're more real than anything. She stood up and faced the elders. One last time, I need your help, she said, to heal him. You will not get it, Elder Ron replied coldly. Let him die. The station will return to order. Belnari looked around at the council. None stepped forward. Not one. She picked up Jack in her arms, his tall frame trembling, and walked toward the exit. I will heal him myself. Even if I must break every code, every law, because I'd rather be punished for feeling than live in a world where no one dares to. The doors hissed open, and she left. Hours later, in the hidden lower med lab, Belnari worked alone. Poison was alien, but she traced its molecular pattern. Her hands moved faster than ever before. Her thoughts raced, fueled by fear. Not for herself, but for him. She injected the antitoxin. Jack gasped, then fell still. Her breath stopped. Jack? Silence, please, and say something. Seconds passed, then his hand twitched. Belnari fell to her knees, holding him tightly. His eyes opened. You came back, he whispered. I never left, she smiled. Far above them, the elders watched a live feed. One elder spoke softly, almost in awe. She defied us. And yet, he survived. Another replied. He survived because she cared. The room grew quiet. For the first time in centuries, doubt entered their minds. A nurse's choice. The stars outside the station blinked softly, unaware of the storm. Inside, Belnari sat at the edge of the recovery bed holding Jack's hand. His breathing was steady now. The poison was gone, his body was healing, but her heart was in conflict. He was safe, for now, but she was not. Her communicator blinked. Final directive issued. Report to reconditioning chamber. Refusal will be considered treason. She stared at the message. They were still trying to erase her thoughts, her emotions, her choices. Her fingers tightened around Jack's. Jack opened his eyes. You should go, he whispered. They're coming for you. She shook her head. I already made my choice. No, you haven't, he said, looking at her with deep, tired eyes. You're still caught between their world and mine. Belnari looked down. I was trained from birth to follow laws. Feelings were called viruses. But now, every time I look at you, I feel something no logic can explain. Jack smiled weakly. That's not a virus, that's being human. Suddenly, the lights in the room dimmed. A cold voice echoed through the speakers. Belnari, you have 10 minutes to surrender. After that, you will be forcibly taken. I stood up slowly. They won't stop, Jack said. You saved me. But who will save you? She walked to the door and looked back. Maybe, she said softly. It's time I save myself. Instead of leaving, she unlocked the drawer beneath the med station. Inside was a hidden medical chip, A classified pass used only by lead scientists. She had stolen it years ago. Never used it. Until now. She slid it into the wall console. A hidden file opened. Project Heartbeat status. Banned. Human Xenon symbiosis study. She scrolled through old files. Research that was once forbidden. Notes by alien scientists who were punished for asking dangerous questions. Can emotional connection strengthen healing? Can two species bond beyond biology? One file caught her eye. Test subject VN01, suppressed emotional genes detected. It was her. Her emotions hadn't come from nowhere. She was born different, but they hid it from her. Her people had feared she might feel, so they trained it out of her. Tried to. Velnari closed the file. Her body was shaking. She looked at Jack, still watching her. They lied to me my whole life, she whispered. Jack reached out. Then stopped living their lie. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. Security was coming. Velnari grabbed Jack's hand. I have one chance, she said. There's a shuttle in Bay 7, unregistered. It's old. It can barely fly. Jack raised an eyebrow. You sure it'll hold? She gave a small smirk. No. But if we stay, I won't either. They moved fast. She disguised Jack in a medtech uniform, covered his face, injected herself with a DNA mask to hide her identity. Every hallway was a risk. Every turn could mean arrest, but for the first time, she didn't feel afraid. She felt free. As they reached Bay 7, alarms began to blare. Unauthorized movement detected. Fugitive escaping. She slammed the launch pad button. The shuttle roared to life, shaking on old engines. Security bots rounded the corner. Jack pulled Velnari inside and slammed the hatch. Laser shots hit the hull, but too late. The shuttle launched into the stars. Inside the small cockpit, Velnari stared at the stars, breathing heavily. Jack leaned beside her. You really did it, he said. No, she replied, smiling. We did. Back on the station, the elders watched the escape in silence. One younger council member asked quietly, Should we chase them? Elder Ron remained still. No, he said slowly. Let them go. If feelings truly are a weakness, let's see if they survive them. More than just biology. The stars stretched endlessly outside the shuttle's window, cold and silent. But inside, it was warm. Velnari sat beside Jack in the pilot seat, her fingers wrapped around his. They didn't speak much. They didn't need to. The silence between them was no longer awkward. It was comforting. It was alive. But their escape wasn't over. The stolen shuttle was slow, damaged, and low on power. Its navigation systems flickered. Oxygen levels dropped slowly, silently. They had left the laws of Xenon behind. Now they were flying into the unknown. Life support's falling, Jack said, checking the screen. Velnari nodded. The fuel cell is leaking. We won't last. Long out here, Jack leaned back. So, what now? She looked at him. Now we write our own ending. Hours passed. Velnari uploaded all her medical data, her scan logs, emotional readings, proof of human-Xenon connection, and sent it across deep space networks. It was risky, but she wanted the universe to know. Emotion is not a threat. Love is not a mistake. It's medicine we forgot. She sent the message anonymously, signed only with 2 letters. N. Suddenly the ship jolted. Warning lights blinked red. Another ship's approaching, Jack shouted. A large vessel drifted into view. AI neutral scavenger cruiser known to pick up damaged ships. Neither military nor government. Just watchers of the galaxy. Velnari narrowed her eyes. If they report us, the elders will find us. We take the risk, Jack said. Or we die here. The cruiser docked. An old alien, half robot, half flesh, stepped onto their shuttle. He stared at Jack, then at Velnari. Runaways, he asked in a rusty voice. Something like that, Jack said. The alien tilted his head. You look like two different species. We are, Velnari replied. The alien smirked. And yet, you look the same. He offered them shelter. The cruiser had space, old tech. Not luxury, but freedom. For weeks, Jack and Velnari worked in the repair bay. They helped fix engines, treated wounded travelers, shared stories. Other aliens began noticing something strange. When the two were near each other, things worked better. Machines calibrated faster, injuries healed quicker. Even the ship's AI reported increased harmony readings in their presence. Their bond was more than romance. It was energy. It was something the galaxy had never measured. Then, one day a message arrived, from the stars, broadcast across thousands of systems. Velnari's medical files, her scan reports, her recordings with Jack. They had gone viral across alien space. Doctors, scientists, and ordinary people watched in silence. Two beings, so different in skin, voice, biology, connected beyond logic. And it worked. Back on Xenon Prime, the elders stood before their central core, watching the ripple. Younger Xenon students gathered outside the chamber, whispering. She healed him with feelings. Her heart changed and she didn't break. What if we've been wrong all this time? The elders said nothing, but the silence was cracking. Meanwhile, on the cruiser, Velnari sat beside Jack, holding a small flower from Earth he had kept in his bag. It's fragile, she said. Jack nodded. But it survives, even in space. She smiled. Like us. The stars no longer looked cold, they looked like home. Not because of where they were, but because of who they were with. Final log entry, Velnari. They said love was only